Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Down goes Steve Bannon. Down goes Steve Bannon. Yes, that's Steve Bannon, the notorious former head of Breitbart and also a former Trump chief strategist, has been arrested. I love it. So now he's been arrested and indicted for fraud. Axios reported that Bannon was charged on Thursday with fraud by federal prosecutors in New York, taken into custody. In fact, he was arrested while on a boat. Now, a boat actually does have something to do with this. So we'll get back to that later. Now, Bannon, along with three others, allegedly defrauded donors out of hundreds of thousands of dollars for their own profit with a crowdfunding campaign called Rebuild the Wall. Now, that is, of course, the right-wing, answer to the fact that Congress really didn't want to appropriate money to fund Donald Trump's ridiculous border wall, which I thought they wouldn't have had to do in the first place. I thought Mexico was going to pay for it. Donald Trump, he said who's going to pay for the wall? Mexico. Well, no, it turns out they just took all the letters off except for M and E. Me. We're going to pay for the wall. And that's exactly what was going to happen. But Congress stepped in, said, no, we're not going to fund that ridiculous pipe dream BS crap, of a wall. And so they decided to take to basically GoFundMe or some sort of crowdfunding platform. They might have been kicked off GoFundMe. I'm not sure. In order to try to raise money. And they actually raised quite a bit, $25 million. Now, again, that's quite a bit for us. But for building a gigantic wall on the Mexican border, that would barely cover any, barely any length of the border, because we do have a pretty long border with Mexico. And so you're going to need billions of dollars to be able to actually build an actionable wall, right? Something that keeps people out, and that's their stated goal. So now, funny enough, right? I've reported on this wall before. The construction was plagued with problems. What kind of problems? For one, they didn't have permissions, right? They didn't have the proper clearances and permits to be able to build. There are also people that had private land that was on the border that did not want this wall built on their land. So that was another problem, right? There was another problem about the gate. Since they didn't have the proper permits, they had to keep the gate open. And so that kind of defeats the entire purpose of a wall. And so lots and lots of problems. There was also a video of a section. I'm not sure if it's the one that was built by Trump, taking money from the military, or this, but there was a section of a wall that actually got blown down. So ridiculous, right? I love it. Now, what's funny is that, again, you see all this stuff happen, that they don't know what they're doing. They had no idea what they're doing. Or that's what you would think. In reality, they knew exactly what they were doing. They were cheaping out on the wall so they could stuff money in their own pockets. And so the indictment says that Bannon, via a nonprofit, took in over $1 million from the scheme, and at least some of it was used to cover hundreds of thousands of dollars in personal expenses. We'll get to that later. Bannon's co-conspirators are Brian Kolfage, who served as the organization's founder and president, Andrew Bottolato, and Timothy Shea. Bannon's indictment makes him the sixth person linked to the leadership of Trump's campaign in 2016 to be hit with federal charges. The others, of course, Roger Stone, Michael Flynn, Rick Gates, Paul Manafort, and Michael Cohen. It's almost as if Trump, did not surround himself with the best people, the greatest people, but instead surrounded himself with an army of grifters and criminals. I wonder why he would do that. Perhaps because he is also a grifter and criminal. Just in case, you didn't get that, where that was going. Kind of help you along. Anyway, so now the indictment also says that while the organization did spend money on border wall, and again, did so very poorly. Uh, Hundreds of thousands of dollars were siphoned for the personal use and benefit for all the defendants, allegedly using the money for a variety of personal expenses, including, among other things, travel, hotel, consumer goods, and personal credit card debt. Colfage specifically used his share for some home renovations. Oh, that's nice. Payments towards a boat. Yes, there is a boat involved. And so I believe that boat was called Warfighter, and it's a 40-foot recreational boat that was seen in one of the boat parades for Donald Trump, or boat parties or whatever. So that's interesting. And not only that, but there was a luxury SUV, a golf cart, jewelry, cosmetic surgery, personal tax payments, and credit card debt. Not what you're supposed to spend, like you're not supposed to spend that money on yourself. You're supposed to spend it on the wall if you raise money for the wall. Like, for example, I'm doing a fundraiser for a computer, a new stream computer. I'm not going to use that to pay my credit card, right? I'm going to use it to buy a computer. Like, that's what you're supposed to do. If you're not doing that, you are defrauding people, and that is wrong. That is against the law. And so now here's the thing about that, right? Will conservatives care? Will the donors actually give a crap? I mean, look, here's the thing, right? I don't know if they will. I mean, look, we keep telling conservatives, yes, we disagree with you on policy positions. Totally, right? We can have that argument about what's good policy. But the people that you believe in, that you give money to, are scam artists. We freaking told you it was a scam. And every time, like, no, you're just cry again, libtard. That's it. That's what we get. And the thing is, we know these people. We know these people are criminals. We know they're kind. And yet, at least for the donors for this stupid wall project, you were so blinded by your hatred for brown people, who, by the way, ironically, you think are the criminals. And so you were so blinded by that, you didn't see the real criminals, the people that you were giving money to. I mean, look, these are the people that prey on hate and ignorance. And so it's no surprise that with your hatred and ignorance, you got robbed. You got robbed. Turns out you're not very smart. And I don't feel bad for you. And look, those of you watching, you shouldn't feel bad for them either. I'm tired of feeling bad for crappy people who get ripped off by even crappier people. I mean, what you have on the right wing is the, grift industrial complex. That's what it really is, okay? You've got the grifter industrial complex. You got like PragerU, you got people like Ben Shapiro, Emilio Yiannopoulos, you got like the people raising money for the wall, Steve Bannon. All these people raise money, get money from conservatives, and think tanks as well, to screw you over. The whole end result is to gain more and more money and power. A lot of it through, for example, getting tax cuts for corporations. But in this case, much more directly, they're just taking money from you and saying, oh, don't worry, trust us. We're going to spend it on conservative causes. I mean, mainly ourselves, because we're conservatives. Hey! And that's exactly what they did. Okay? The grift industrial complex. And it goes right alongside the Republican death cult. Okay? And so, look, Republican politicians, they're also a part of that. They blatantly lie to their constituents. They pick their pockets in order to enrich their donors and then blame people who are powerless. Poor people, black and brown people. And then, of course, alongside that, you get a whole host of right-wing grifters that come in with their magic solutions. Don't worry, we're going to solve COVID-19. Just give us money for this colloidal silver or whatever, or, flour that's toxic. You just give us money for that. And then we will solve all your problems. Oh, hey, immigrants, did they steal your job? Okay, well, here's what we're going to do. Give us money and we'll build a wall to keep the Mexicans out, who had nothing to do with your boss's decision on whether or not he was going to outsource in order for him to buy a second freaking yacht. I mean, look, that's it. Or there's more, we have a president who says, send me money to a foundation that I'm going to use to, I'm going to use that money to buy my own picture. I set up a fake university. Come learn about basically nothing and give me all of your federal money. And that's it. That's it. My God, man, the entire right wing is full of it. Again, we have elevated president, one of these grifters. So, and you know what? Here's the thing. The reason they do it is because you're all marks to them. You're all easy prey. Easy, easy. You know why? It's because there's a lack of critical thinking on the right wing. Somehow, even smart people who are able to do so turn that part of their brain off. And maybe it's got to do with something with, these people, I'm scared of them or I hate them or something, right? It just turns all the logic in your brain off. And it makes you an easy victim to be robbed. And look, that entire ideology of the right wing is based on fear and disgust. And so they get you distracted so you can't think straight. And suddenly you think ridiculous things like if you let corporations do whatever the hell that they want, right? That they're going to raise your wages. That's not how that works. No, that's not how that works. Never in the history of the universe has a corporation been, would they ever say if, hey, now I don't have any regulations on me, I guess the first thing that I'm going to do is raise your wages. No, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. Okay. I mean, they also think that, what if we build a wall on the border between the U.S. and Mexico, nobody's going to get through it, as if ladders don't exist, right? As if tunnels don't exist, as if they can't just fly over it in a plane. I mean, come on, dude. They also think things like wealth is going to trickle down, right? Like crumbs from the plate, okay? That's why you're all marks, because you believe in all this stuff. You've allowed yourself to believe in insane things because, I don't know, maybe all you want to do is hold on to your own hatreds. I don't know. And because of all this stuff, no, I'm not going to feel bad at all for you for getting screwed over. My empathy is exhausted and wasted. And you know why? It's because even though after they robbed you to pay off their own debt and buy boats and all this ridiculous personal crap, there's going to be people out there that go out and defend them anyway. Because that's unfortunately how the scam works. It's never their fault. No, it's always someone else.